ChatGPT has just released ads to the public. So if you're a business in the United States, you can now go in and set up a ChatGPT account and actually start running ads. And in today's video, I wanted to explain exactly how you get started on this platform, how to set up a campaign, and how to actually see success, because it's not as straightforward as you may think. And the reason that I'm so confident that this is going to be something lucrative for the next couple of years is because we saw the exact same story when Facebook ads just released. CPMs were super low and people were getting insane results, super high profitability, and the exact same thing before that when Google ads just released. So this is just the next wave of opportunity, because as I've talked about on my channel and you've probably seen online, the way that people are searching has completely changed. People are looking in a very informational type of manner and need to be guided towards a product. They're searching in very complex ways, not just searching something like black running shoe, but instead they're looking for best athletic running shoe for a man in their 50s who likes to hike or run. So we need to make sure that we actually have ads set up to actually capture those type of people. And the best way to do that is going to be with the platform that invented that style of searching, or collaborated with it, or responded to it best right from the get-go, which is ChatGPT. So diving right in, the first thing that you need to be conscious of is that you need to verify your business. So for a lot of my clients, I've seen we've had to wait anywhere from 3 to 10 days to actually get approved from OpenAI. So if you actually go to their ads website, which is ads.openai.com, we want to click start now. And then what you're going to see from there is the different options for business verification. It's going to give you an option to enter your business name and then some other information about your business. And the reasoning why I said this only applies to US-based businesses right now is because they require you to put in an EIN. And if you're not in the US, you can't enter that. But again, ChatGPT is planning to roll out ads to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and really the other major countries. So I think that should be coming within a month or two or so. Again, don't hold me towards that because this is already moving super quick. But once you went in and verified your business information, this is where the exciting part starts and we can actually start building the campaign. And now for the exciting part, diving right into the actual ads manager. As we can see here, it looks pretty bland. There's not too much going on, but that being said, again, everything is being developed super quick. So definitely there's going to be more customization in terms of the columns that we can select because we just have this preset right now. The best way to assess the data once we actually launch the campaigns, I mean, you can see service level metrics here, but it's probably going to be to actually export and then look back in something like Claude or ChatGPT itself to actually see what is the data telling us. Again, there's not as much opportunity to optimize off of conversions. It's mostly going to be traffic based. So we want to be optimizing for the right types of context of searches, how the algorithm actually chooses to target certain types of people. So what we did here is we created a new campaign. We just create campaign right here. You can also upload from other platforms, but again, would prefer to just create a campaign manually. So we create a campaign. You can name this campaign 1 or campaign for X business objective. My recommendation is the same philosophy that I follow with Google ads. It's we want to focus on what we already know is lucrative and there's a lot of demand for. If you've already spent a lot of time on the AEO side, optimizing your website to actually be crawlable by the search engine listings, come back and think about what actual types of searches you were showing up, you're trying to show up for, all of those informational ones, because we're going to use those in a section called context hints when we're actually building out the ad groups. But again, on that topic, we want to think about what are some of our top selling products that we want to target. If you're an e-commerce business, if you're lead generation, which I don't talk about as often, but again, what are the top services or product lines that you want to promote? And we just want to start with focusing on that and then start to expand outwards once we actually see proof of concept. Again, because we don't want to just throw a ton of spaghetti at the wall right now. We just want to figure out what exactly is converting and working and have the best probability of actually working. The other thing that I will say as well is this is almost like a search campaign. If you're familiar with Google ads, where it's like text based, there is an image as well that you can add to the ad, but it's predominantly text-based. You just have a headline, description, and an ad. It's not like a shopping ad where you actually have product data and product information. So I'm super excited when that rolls out because that will be, I think, a more lucrative campaign type than just search. But again, working with what we have for now. And moving on from the campaign and that overview that I gave, we have 2 objectives to choose from. This is reach. So when ChatGPT just launched ads, you could only optimize on a CPM basis. That's what those larger companies were doing. We have the opportunity to optimize for clicks. And so I'm definitely going to choose that as an objective. Reason being, again, I would rather start on a manual CPC and control how much I'm spending to actually get a click to my site than just optimizing for complete visibility with not really a signal to actually get traffic. And again, I think just going after eyeballs in general is not going to get you in front of the right types of people, because again, the whole platform's incentivization is going to be to get you a high click-through rate. And the way that it achieves that is making sure that your actual ad is showing up for relevant context of searches. And again, if we're optimizing for clicks because it's charging us on a CPC basis, that's how it achieves its goal. And that's ultimately, again, how we get in front of people that we actually want to show up for. So in terms of targeting, there's a few options here, but I'm just going to select the US for now. Daily budget, I would recommend anywhere from like a $50 to $100 per day budget. Reason being, because CPCs are typically around the $3 to $5 range. That's what it recommends. If you set under a $3 to $5 bid, it just tells you that it's too low, which again, same with Google, same with Meta, is they're always going to push you recommendations to spend more. But again, I would rather start a little bit more aggressively with our bids to make sure that we can show up above some of the other advertisers that are there. And again, if we set a $3, $4, $5 bid, doesn't mean we're going to spend that per click. It just means that we're willing to be aggressive in the auction to show up instead of any of the other advertisers that are trying to show as well. So here, daily budget, let's say $100 per day. And then we have a conversion event as well. You can set up conversion tracking. I'm not going to cover this in this video, but that's something we can set up as well. For now, it's not as important because we're just optimizing for clicks. You can see here, there's no conversion bidding yet. It's coming soon. But if we press next to the actual ad group, this is where we can choose a actual bid limit. So that's what I was saying. So if we set a $3 bid, it's a strong delivery. Anything above a $3 bid, it says it's going to have strong delivery. And then if we set a $1 bid, it's not super happy. So that's why, again, I would kind of do bang in the middle just to make sure we're competitive enough, not also overbidding. And we can always adjust this. But again, I would rather just be aggressive, make sure we can show up, make sure we can get good visibility, and just kind of coincide with what the algorithm wants for now. Everything else looks pretty straightforward here, except the context hints, which I started to talk about on the campaign level. But basically, this is your way to give the algorithm insight into who to actually target. This is, again, conversational types of searches, topics they might be looking for, keywords to some extent as well. And it says here too, these are guides, but not exact match targeting rules. So it can go past whatever selection you have. And the best way to actually know what types of context to input here is if you have a chat in ChatGPT or Claude about your business, you can ask it, what are the most common types of searches people are making with the intent to purchase my product in my product category? And then it'll give you a list of different questions that people may be asking. And then you can even put in a screenshot and say, these are context hints in ChatGPT ads it just released. What are some context hints that I should provide that are relevant to what I offer? And so it spit out a 5 to 10 list of different contexts. We can use that for now. You can filter it out. And I basically had those contexts to make sure it's just for best-selling products or categories, again, depending on how many SKUs your store is. But that way, again, like you can pair it to your targeting. I mixed it between offers that we have, people actually searching for the product category, or looking for a specific solution. So I'm going to input those context hints that I got from Claude into here. There's about a list of 10 to 15 here. And then the next thing we do is configure our ads. If we go to the ad section, it's extremely simple. All we have really is we can name the ad, which is not super important, the headline, the description, and then the ad images. How this differs from Google Ads, if you're actively running Google Ads or not, doesn't matter, but we have a little bit more space in terms of headlines, so up to 50 characters, and then a 100-character description. The one thing that it will say as well, so if your headlines are over, I'd say the 25, 30 character mark, it starts to say that your copy can actually be truncated, and that's both on the headline side and then the description side as well. I would still make sure to add longer descriptions, but just make sure what you front load in the headlines and descriptions is actually the most relevant to the business, so the actual product offering that you have, or some type of promotions, or some type of unique selling point. So I would think about what you found best to resonate in your market within your other advertising or even copy on your website, and I would enter that as a headline here. And then the same principle for a description what you know best resonates with your customer base. Again, I can't tell you because I don't manage your business, but that ultimately has the best likelihood to perform well on a new placement as well. And again, what I've been reiterating here is when we're testing a new platform, we want to incorporate elements that we already know, the data that we already have from other ad platforms or marketing efforts that work. And we just want to replicate this here because again, that increases the likelihood that we actually have success. So for a headline, like I said, we can enter something like a discount. For example, this client that I'm running the ad for has a sample offer, which again is very good at getting people through the door, getting good engagement on the front end. And then we convert them into larger orders on the back end, higher LTV. That's really the play here. And then with the description, we do something like this is a DIY product, no contractor needed. It goes from in the box to actually on your wall within 30 minutes. So I'm going to enter that headline and description right now. I actually went back to one of the published campaigns, but same principle here is we entered the ad name, we had the website URL. So you can send this to a specific product page, a sales page, or home page. And then you can see here as well, this is what I mentioned, that some placements may be truncated. Again, it is what it is in that sense. We still want to take up as much real estate as possible because if we have a longer description and headline, it makes our ad more meaty. But again, the thing is we don't know really what these other placements are yet. It's because we just have this one campaign type for now, the traffic one and the reach one. And then you add an image. Again, I just added one of the key product images. And then what we might want to do is have more ad groups for the different types of products that we want to focus on. So for now, again, just focus on a few of the best sellers, set the context hints for one of the best selling categories, and then duplicated another ad group, set it for the other best selling category as well with a specific image for that, a headline and description. And then from there, you're taken to the review section where really there's not much information. You can just hit publish. And then it should take you back to the actual campaign manager dashboard where you can turn on the campaign if you want or off. And it'll give you obviously the status if it's serving or not serving. Again, so if you're ready, just flip it on. Like I said, anywhere from a $50 to $100 per day budget is good because that way you have enough of a test budget. And I would also give this enough time to perform just to, again, start to collect some data, understand what types of searches are we showing up for. There's not so much information in terms of the context and optimization, but I'm going to be running this for pretty much all of my clients. So I'll be in the loop in terms of what is working, having spent several thousands of dollars for now on this platform, and that's just going to grow. And to really see how lucrative this platform is, and if we want to keep pushing it, how aggressively we can scale it, at what point results start to drop off. But if you want to keep in the loop on really what is performing right now on ChatGPT ads, and actually to understand how to set up campaigns on your own, click that subscribe button. I cover really everything to do with Google ads, Microsoft ads, YouTube ads, and ChatGPT ads. And I'm consistently posting about what actually drives profitability today with current strategies, not what was working 5 years ago or so when the search landscape was completely different. And if you want to keep learning about really how to get your ads in AI placements, ChatGPT is obviously not the only platform that is releasing ads on its platform. Google has done that with their AI overview, and I predict eventually with Gemini as well. So I made this video which references how exactly you can be prepared and actually show up in these AI overviews so that you're dominating the AI ads landscape anywhere that it exists right now.